Good morning, dears. Welcome to our biology class. This is our second session, right? So I hope last class is clear to you. So today's class we will be discussing the next topics. In the last class we discussed what is photosynthesis, how the plants perform photosynthesis, requirements of photosynthesis, and also importance of photosynthesis. I hope that is clear to you and you have maintained a note for that, isn't it? You have maintained a note for that, right? Okay. So before going to the today's class, let me show you that two activities are given in your textbook. So I hope you can see that activity 1, this is to show that chlorophyll is necessary for photosynthesis. Last class we discussed the importance of chlorophyll, right, for performing photosynthesis. So read it, okay, read it, and also together with another activity is also being given, activity 2, whether sunlight is necessary for photosynthesis. What is the effect of sunlight in performing photosynthesis? So those two activities you have to read it clearly. Okay. So now we have just learned photosynthesis is the process by which plants produce food, isn't it? What food is being produced? What food is produced? Yes, it is carbohydrate. Isn't it? Carbohydrate is the food that is produced by the plants. So what are the things present in this carbohydrate? Carbon is present, hydrogen is present, and oxygen is also present in this carbohydrate. So it's a substance which contains carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. So while synthesizing carbohydrates, plants are getting carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Clear? So along with this, another component of food is proteins, fats, vitamins, etc. You have studied in lower sessions, right? So how do proteins are synthesized in plants? See, plants also synthesize proteins and fats. How do they synthesize? Proteins are made up of nitrogen. Carbohydrates are made up of these three things, right? Similarly, proteins are made up of nitrogen. When we recollect our previous classes, we found that in order to prepare this carbohydrate by photosynthesis, plants absorb carbon and other similar substances from where? From the atmosphere, right? Similarly, our atmosphere also contains nitrogen, isn't it? You know that. Do the plants can absorb the nitrogen from atmosphere? No. Plants cannot absorb atmospheric nitrogen. Plants have to absorb nitrogen in a soluble form. In a soluble form. How this is formed? The nitrogen, atmospheric nitrogen is formed into soluble one. Let us see that. Okay. Our soil contains a bacteria known as Rhizobium. What is the bacteria called? Rhizobium. Rhizobium. Read it 2 or 3 times. Write and study so that you won't go wrong with the spellings. Okay. So this rhizobium is present where? In the soil. They are responsible for the conversion of atmospheric nitrogen to to the solid form. Clear? The soluble form of nitrogen is known as nitrate. What it is known as? Nitrate. I will tell once again. The bacteria present in the soil, that is rhizobium, they takes up the atmospheric nitrogen and convert into soluble form, that is the nitrate. Only the nitrate can be absorbed by the plants. So this will be in the soil, isn't it? Rhizobium convert the nitrogen into nitrate, and that nitrate will be present in the soil. So from the soil, the plant can take up the nitrate through the water. This is how nitrogen is reaching to the plants. Clear? Okay. Then what about the fat? How the fats are seen? See, you know that some oil plants are there, such as sunflower, mustard and all. They are also synthesizing carbohydrates by photosynthesis, isn't it? So they convert this simple carbohydrates to oils. Oils are fats, isn't it? Oils contain fat. So that carbohydrate will be converted to oils, and that oil will be stored in the seeds of sunflower and mustard. Clear? Now vitamins. Vitamins are also synthesized by plants, and that vitamins will be stored in fruits and vegetables. That's why our mother and parents and all ask us to take more fruits and vegetables to have lots of vitamins. Okay, clear? So this is how proteins, fat and vitamins are synthesized by the plants other than carbohydrate. Okay, carbohydrate is synthesized by photosynthesis. That we have studied clearly in the last class. Okay, so we are moving to see the next topic. See, in the first class we discussed there are two modes of nutrition, right? Autotrophic mode of nutrition and heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Clear? Okay. So, we are going to see heterotrophic mode of nutrition in plants. Clear? In which plants? Typically non-green plants. Is that clear? Because green plants synthesize food by photosynthesis, that is autotrophic mode of nutrition. Some non-green plants and animals depend upon others for the ready-made food, and they are known as heterotrophic mode of nutrition, isn't it? They will not be having chlorophyll. No chlorophyll will be there in non-green plants, isn't it? That's why they can't perform photosynthesis. Right. Now we are going to see different types of heterotrophic nutrition. First of all, it includes saprotrophic nutrition. Saprotrophic. It's a new term, right? Saprotrophic. Sapro means rotten. Sapro means rotten, decayed matter. Okay. So, saprotrophic nutrition. Some organisms depend upon for their food. They depend upon certain dead and decaying matters for their food. Such type of nutrition is known as saprotrophic nutrition. the mode of nutrition in which the organisms depend upon dead and decaying matters for their nutrition is known as saprotrophic nutrition. And the organisms which follow the saprotrophic nutrition are known as saprotrophs. Okay, saprotrophs. Another important feature which you should keep in mind that plants with saprotrophic nutrition do not have chlorophyll. They will not have chlorophyll. They will be white colored. They will be white colored. Example, coral root. Then Indian pipe. It's a name of a plant. Okay, it's not a pipe. Okay, it's a name of a plant. Okay, I hope it's clear what is saprotrophic nutrition. Organisms which depend upon dead and decaying matters for their nutrition, and the organisms are known as saprotrophs, and the mode of nutrition is known as saprotrophic nutrition. Clear? You are saying that during the rainy season, during this type of season, some umbrella like patches growing on the woods and all. What is that umbrella like patches known as? What are they known as? Someone is telling. I am not hearing clearly. What is it? Yes, they are mushrooms. We often have mushrooms, right? Do you like mushroom? I like mushroom. Okay, so they are mushrooms. Clear? So why they are growing on that woods and all? They are deriving the nutrients from that wood. How they are deriving? These mushrooms will secrete certain digestive juices which dissolves that wood and it will be transformed into liquid. That liquid will be rich in nutrients and that will be having by these mushrooms. So mushrooms are coming under which category? Mushrooms are coming under the category fungi, or you can pronounce it as fungi. Okay, I am pronouncing it as fungi or fungus. Along with this mushroom, some other fungi are also known for the saprotrophic nutrition. They include bread mold and yeast. Clear? So the fungi or the mushrooms, bread mold, yeast are the examples for saprotrophic nutrition, and also some bacteria. Some bacteria are also following this saprotrophic nutrition, along with this coral roots and Indian pipe. The figure of coral roots and Indian pipe is given in your textbook, and you have to study all the examples. Okay, all the examples. Examples for saprotrophs include coral root, Indian pipe, fungi such as mushrooms, bread mold, yeast, and some bacteria. Clear? So formerly fungi or fungus were treated as plants, but due to the advent of certain studies and all, it came to be known as fungus is not a plant no more. Due to some studies, fungus is no more a plant due to the presence of certain characteristic features. Clear? That characteristic features made fungi as a separate category, and now fungi is in a kingdom known as kingdom fungi. You will be studying that and all in detail in your higher classes. Okay. Clear? So fungi is not a plant. Okay. So in our daily life we used to see fungi. You know what is fungi? The term which is used in Malayalam for fungi is poopal. Okay, now fungi. See, in order to see fungi, I'll give you an activity. You could do at your home. Take a bread, one container and some drops of water. Put that bread in a container and sprinkle some water over it and cover the container. Open the container after 2 days. What you will see? What is your observation? You could see a green or some bluish green like patches or brown fluffy like patches that would have grown over the surface of bread. That is the fungi. It's not used for eating purpose. It would lead us for several diseases. So don't go for that food. It is deadly. It causes diseases. Okay, it's deadly, serious disease. So it's clear now. Today we have dealt only with saprophytic nutrition. So I'm winding up today's class. Only a small portion I have taken. The rest, the definition and all, I will give you in your groups, and you maintain a good notebook with you. Write all the definition what I am giving. Okay. So I'm bidding goodbye for time being. Thank you. Have a nice day.